one man, one van, and two cats. Pure awesomeness. I also travel with my two partners who each have their own cat. We're full-time nomads who travel all over the country. Check out my adventures with my crew of felines and humans as we live rent-free, explore, and generally just have a great time. You're invited. I hope you come along because you're guaranteed to enjoy the ride. So sit back, hang tight, and don't forget to buckle up. What's going on, guys? So I'm here at Walmart. Today's video is going to be a crazy person laughing. Today's video is going to be Vanlife foods that are shelf stable that you can keep and eat in your vehicle without needing a fridge or a cooler. So it's pretty exciting. A lot of people don't want to have to keep their food all cold and have to get ice every day or have to pay for and have a huge fridge that's going to take a lot of electricity. So we're going to go through and do a tour of all the foods you can buy that are things I buy too and are really easy. They're no hassle and they're also pretty good for you too. So we'll go in and see what there is to see. So starting off in fresh fruit and veggies, they will stay good for the most part without a fridge or cooler, but obviously certain ones won't. Like lettuce, for example, tends to get gross really fast, unless you're in a colder climate, that is. I tend to eat a lot of blueberries, specifically organic. We tend to eat organic for the most part. Pretty much any fruit or vegetable I'll try to get organic, which of course would include bananas. The more the merrier. We're not really a big fan of pesticides in our food. I tend to eat broccoli. We buy it raw, and one of my babies will steam me up some broccoli usually because I'm lazy. When it comes to the pastries, they've got their pre-made little section on display. I would avoid all those. Like, you don't need that junk food and that sugar in your system and empty calories. And same with the tortillas they got that are factory made, have a lot of additives and whatnot. Avoid those. When it comes to, ready-made food they've got for sale, it's a little bit more expensive, but sure, if you want it. Checking the clearance little end cap here. More junk food, so more of a pass for me. Now you're probably wondering why I'm looking in the frozen section. I do love the plant-based meats. Me and Coda are pescatarian, and Chloe's actually vegan. But in general, when it comes to frozen foods, you can get them, but you have to eat them pretty fast because they will thaw, and then they'll just be cold, and then they'll, get to room temperature, and then you really got to eat them. So it's really a case by case on frozen. Just kind of think about how soon you can eat those things. Because in warm temperatures, you'll probably have like a day, maybe a day and a half, and then you're entering, the risky zone. So pickles are nice because they have no calories and they're good for weight loss and stuff. So, it's a good snack to fill your stomach. And as long as they don't have a lot of sugars, in my experience, they can stay out and not have to be in the fridge or cooler. So moving right along, canned veggies are kind of a no-brainer. Like, obviously, if it's in a can, it'll stay good for maybe half a day to a day after you open it. But before you open it, it's, good for a really long time. So we definitely eat some canned veggies. The powdered mashed potatoes and stuff, we found tend to be really unhealthy. So they are pretty tasty when you make them right, but we tend to just kind of avoid those altogether. So unfortunately, because you would think that'd be ideal for van life, but just adding water and heating, but no. So obviously, canned beans, kind of the same thing like canned veggies. Beans have a little bit more protein, of course. A word of warning, they tend to go bad really fast. So if you're going to buy those, and not keep them cold, I would eat them fast. Maximum, maybe, 10 hours or something. That's a guess. And we've got mac and cheese here and stuff, pasta products like that. Yeah, sure, you can make that in your van, in your vehicle, but got a lot of empty carbs and calories in the pasta. So same with ramen. So we tend to eat stuff like that maybe as like a pre-workout fuel, but I'll make whole videos on how we stay fit and work out on the road. But yeah, you can see the nutrition here. It's a ton of sodium and little protein and a lot of just empty carbs and calories. So yeah, pasta, noodles, ramen, etc. Definitely moderation. Maybe pre or post workout, is my advice. So the canned soups, yeah, some of them are pretty good. A lot of them, unfortunately, have a ton of sodium, kind of like the ramen. Coda and I are especially partial to some clam chowder right here. That brand, not tremendously healthy, but as far as we know, not astronomically unhealthy. So canned soups are, fine. Why not? I want to definitely draw special attention to any kind of a pouch meal, like, for example, these Indian little meals here. They're completely shelf stable and they're really tasty. You could literally eat them even cold. And, I'm guilty of doing that. They're already pre cooked. So, who can, say enough good things about like canned fish, canned tuna? We definitely eat a lot of that. High in protein, which you'll, see right there, of course. And very tasty. You can even eat it without even seasoning it. Don't have to cook it. It's ready to go. So, of course, right? And if you do decide to cook it, it goes really well on a side note with rice. So, rice is a dried product that you can rehydrate, ideal for Vanlife. We get stuff like this up here that's cooks really fast. Don't overdo it on rice is my personal thought, and we tend to opt for brown rice if we're going to eat that. White rice is kind of just simple carbs. It turns into sugar really fast in your body, so not ideal for keeping up the weight. Stuff like that. And dried beans, of course, same idea. Rehydrate, stays good forever until you hydrate it, almost forever anyway. You can make some split pea soup or something. Lentils are, where are they? There they are. Lentils are very good for you, very nutritious. So, yeah. So, speaking of nutrition, I take apple cider vinegar. I'll take a tablespoon in the morning, a tablespoon at night, sometimes one in the middle of the day too. And they say it's supposed to help you, control your blood sugar and stuff. So, it's a healthy little thing to add on there. When it comes to like milk, you might be thinking, oh God, without a cooler, but there you go, dried milk, right? You can just mix it with water. They also have stuff like shelf stable milk in the cartons, but be warned about that once you open it. It definitely needs to be kept cold. So unless you're going to drink that whole thing in a few hours, you might not want to get those. And I had to do an honorable mention, of course, for coffee. If you're a coffee lover, it's great to have it in your van. So couldn't live without my coffee. We got the bread aisle here. Most of it, I'll be honest, is really bad for you. It's got a lot of weird additives in there often, but I like my sourdough. We tend to opt for that if we're going to eat bread. So a little bit of a lower glycemic index there for sourdough. But a lot of this stuff here is just, white bread, simple white bread, just essentially just turns instantly into sugar in your system. So, I'll pass on that. Honey is delicious if you like honey, and pretty much never goes bad. It might crystallize sometimes. You just have to warm it up, run it under some hot water and stuff. But I'll use that instead of sugar, or instead of like stevia. Really good for you. I tend to buy organic. So, and who doesn't love peanut butter? Stays good forever. High in protein, but be wary, high in calories too. But it's a good van life staple too. So maybe peanut butter on sourdough. I think I've had that before. I think it was pretty good. So you could do that. And then, of course, there's cereal. Who doesn't love a good bowl of some yummy cereal? Maybe use the powdered milk on that one if you're going to have that in your van. Generally, protein bars, cereal bars, stuff like that tend to be either really expensive or really full of sugar and sometimes even weird additives. But I definitely eat protein bars. That brand in particular, not really, but that's just an example. Yeah, they're quick, convenient, easy, and stay good for a really long time. So you can try that. Uh, Granola bars, cereal bars like that, I tend to avoid. Speaking of avoiding, most chips are going to be really bad for you, obviously. Complete junk food, but there are healthy ones out there, so you can look for those. Think like lentil chips or chickpea chips and stuff like that. Dried fruit, as long as it doesn't have a lot of added sugar. Fruit's good for you, it stays good for a really long time. So I can't say we don't eat some dried fruit. Raisins and stuff like that, of course, are yummy. You can even get some oats and add them to your oatmeal. I eat a lot of yogurt, specifically plain Greek yogurt. got a lot of protein, and I eat that at night before I go to bed. Got some good casein protein to last you through the night. Yeah, avoid the sugary ones. And of course, we have the ever overpriced eggs. So, little known fact maybe, but eggs actually stay good outside of the fridge for a really long time. Now, don't, sue me if your eggs don't stay good for a long time, but as long as they're not these types, which are the liquid eggs, those you need to refrigerate. But, regular eggs in the shell will stay good. And I wanted to actually show you guys string cheese, really yummy, and they're all individually wrapped, so they will stay good for a really long time. And in my experience, even not in the fridge or cooler. So, hey, cheese is good, right? And of course, we've got like nuts, peanuts, honey roasted nuts, stuff like that. Really yummy. I definitely like my honey roasted peanuts. High calorie though, so watch out. And when it comes to other types of shelf stable fruit like applesauce, I just avoid the ones with a lot of added sugar or any added sugar really. And canned fruit tends to have a lot of added sugar, but you actually can find some that use like stevia or Splenda, aka like sucralose. So that's not it. You got to really read the labels really carefully. It might say in own syrup or heavy syrup or stuff like that. But here we go. We got the no sugar added. So Coda loves those. You can eat them all day, all night. I like them too. And I wanted to add in this little pro tip. If you get your own reusable bottles, you can actually just come and refill at most grocery stores for really cheap. Look at that, 46 cents. Basically at least half the price of buying new bottles of purified water. That's going to be it, guys. I hope that video helps you. The rules of thumb are going to be dried foods, dehydrated foods, anything you can reheat, stuff like that is going to be really good for van life and without a fridge, without a cooler, etc. So yeah, let me know in the comments if you have any other ideas I didn't think of, or any questions. Of course, you can always ask me things too. As always, some parting words: do no harm, always do good, and never stop thinking for yourself. Until the next time, guys, I'll see you